it made me genuinely happy to see this man's face. And then Mike Ryan welcomes him in and immediately hits him with a Miami Heat type reference that oh, look at him, he's still whimpering. It hurt him. This is not a way to greet someone, Mike. To welcome them into your space is by bringing up the heartache of, and I don't know how this went for you, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, but were you just broken, physically broken?
I mean, I think when the Celtics were down 0-3, I was physically broken and I wanted to break it all up and I wanted Missoula gone. And then when they pulled 3 out and they tied it 3-3, I was like, oh, this is what we do. This is what Boston sports teams do, is they come back and they make history. And then Tatum sprained his ankle in the first play of the game, and I was like, this is not going to go well. And, it still stings, but I believe in them, and they'll be back, and I'm stoked to be here on the show with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Chris, would you rather have them just been swept than having your hopes built up and then dashed in a terrible Game 7?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough, because is the right thing to do, getting rid of Missoula, and if we were swept, maybe they would have fired him, maybe they would have hired Monty Williams. But you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that with your team. So I was stoked that they won 3. I wanted to see it happen. And, maybe they'll hire some good assistant coaches and they'll get to the finals next year.
Chris, how did the misery of the Celtics losing compare to the misery of the Bruins losing?
This is brutal, guys. My God.
Welcome to our world.
You've done plenty of winning, so I don't really want to hear about it.
I know. I just woke up. I got back from a bachelor party last night. I'm like, I still got drugs flushing out of my system, and now you're going to make me cry right now?
We're having a party on Thursday down here if you want to make it down to Miami.
All right, maybe. Definitely the Celtics. It goes Celtics, Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins for me. I don't follow the Bruins as tightly as I do the other teams, but when they have the most historic season in NHL history, you're like, this is a cakewalk, and then they blow it to another South Floridian team.
You're on with us because has it been Mike Ryan? Somebody's been talking about stars on Mars around here for a couple of days. They want to talk about this show, and I haven't seen it yet. Mike, why are you so enthused about it?
I love the concept. A few years ago, there was this podcast that I love listening to. It was called The Habitat, and it was about astronauts that trained in a remote place in, I think it was the Big Island of Hawaii. And the topography, everything is made to feel like Mars. And this is how they prepare for these potential missions to Mars. And I was fascinated by it. I love the podcast. And someone decided to make a show out of it, but a show with celebrities. Yeah. And that fascinated me. And recently I saw Ariel Winters on the show from Modern Family. And she was honored to be alongside a real astronaut during the show. Unfortunately, she thought Lance Armstrong was the real astronaut.
Brilliant content. Ariel Winters, a legend. I had a tough time being there because I'm so used to hiding behind dialogue and a character, and to be myself, being filmed 24/7 with 60 cameras in every room. I'm like, you ride the emotions of a day, which is happiness, sadness, tiredness, excitedness. And you're like, I'm being filmed when this is all happening. I didn't know what to do. And Ariel, she just has this brilliant moment of thinking Lance Armstrong is Neil Armstrong. And I'm like, that's good content. She's nervous of how she's going to be perceived at that moment. I'm like, no, that's entertainment right there. That's the good stuff. But I listen to The Habitat as well. And our show is nothing like that. It is... you got Marshawn Lynch there, and he's not going to allow you to actually throw him out. And Marshawn wants his Hennessy.
It really is. You must have some good stories there. Marshawn is always Marshawn. He's not putting on airs for any Hollywood types.
Dude, I mean, he was saying the F word every other word. I didn't know how it was going to happen on Fox, but he's brilliant. He is the most real human being I've ever met. And we voted him commander in episode 1, and he was defending his boys. They didn't give us our luggage until the second day, and Lance Armstrong needed his reading glasses. And so Marshawn's just like, yo, producers, They're just screaming at the top of his lungs, "Get OG his glasses, dog!" And completely just kind of pushing the game aside. I was like, I'm in. This guy's the greatest.
Who's gonna say no?
Exactly.
Wait, so you guys don't actually go to Mars?
Really, Chris? Really? Go sit.
It'd be sick if we were the first people to ever land on Mars.
Go sit in the penalty box.
I mean, with all this training, one of you should at least make the cut.
I know. Well, the thing is, no one's ever been to Mars, and it would be wild if Fox was like, "I'm gonna put Ronda Rousey. She's gonna be the first person ever." And like astronauts are trying
for a reality show.
We were in the middle of the outback in Australia in a mining town called Coober Pedy. It was a very cool place.
When you were sitting in the great seats watching Boston lose, you were there for Game 7? You were.
I was there. No. I was there for Game 5 and they won, and then I flew to Miami for Game 6, where Derek White had the hand of God to 0.2-second layup. So I was 3-0 this year going to the Garden. So maybe my mistake was not being there for Game 7.
It's on you. It is.
I know, man.
You got to show up to Game 7.
They had Jack Harlow courtside, and he has a song about Tyler Hero.
That's right. That's what happened. That's right. That's
Look at
correct.
that, man.
That is correct.
You didn't show up to the game. You can't blame anyone but yourself.
You're right. Maybe he got my ticket. Maybe that's why I'm bitter.
How can you help us understand? Because I do believe Fame. I don't know how old you were when Fame first came, but I would imagine your life was thrown sideways by everything that happened with becoming McLovin, right? I don't like is there any handbook?
Andrew Perloff?
Is there any handbook given to anybody that allows them to sort of try and figure out how to navigate everything that happens after that?
I mean, no, you just kind of, so I was 17 when Superbad came out, so you're correct. It was 16 years ago, which is very crazy. And it's pretty amazing that people still want to talk about it this far along later. But yeah, there's no real way to handle it. You know, Seth Rogen gave me some advice when it came out, and his advice was don't do another high school movie again, because I think I could have easily got locked into doing a bunch of high school stuff. I got really distracted. I got a man who's
he's on Mars.
A man who's pretending to float on Mars.
He's not pretending to be on Mars. We sent him away here
because very clearly never watched Total Recall.
He's very entertaining.
Is that what Mars was like?
That was exactly what it was like, dude. That was spot on. That is the show. You don't need to go watch the show. Just watch this man right here. He's nailing it. But it was super intense. But you know, people running up to me at 18 years old, grabbing my face, doing the "I got a boner" line, and me just being like, I want to be a kid. I want to smoke weed. What's going on? You know. But I had great friends and family to kind of guide me along, and now I'm here on the Dan LeBatard show, living it up, baby. Life's good.
Chris, in basketball and sports, there's always this concept of vets that look after the young rookies and show them the ropes of the industry. You mentioned Seth Rogen. Who are some of the vets who showed you the ropes of the industry?
I mean, definitely Seth and Evan Goldberg, who wrote Superbad. Judd Apatow, they kind of took me under their wing. I think they could have realized maybe I would have gone a different party avenue, drug avenue, if I didn't have their guidance. But it's funny because I kind of feel right now, one of my close friends, Nicholas Braun, is on Succession, and he plays a similar he plays Cousin Greg, and I played McLovin, and they're both in that kind of echelon of one character names, and he feels like he's done his research watching me kind of combat the McLovin thing on the streets, and he finds himself giving answers when people are like, "Are you Cousin Greg?" He's like, yeah, I am. Yeah, but my name's Nick. And he's like, "I learned that from you, from watching you on the street. Are you McLovin?" I'm like, "Yeah, but my name's Chris." And so I feel like I'm kind of helping him out a little bit.
And do you always meet that with grace, or sometimes are you surly, you got an emergency, you don't want to be McLovin, then you want to not be like I would imagine that it would be annoying right now to be Cousin Greg in public, just because he's very tall, and he's going to be seen by a lot of people, and
Totally.
People do not respect your space anymore.
Yeah, you know, I think that's a good way to ask it is, do you handle it with grace? I think if the people that are coming up to you and are treating you with respect, then you're going to give respect back. You know, maybe they don't know my name is Chris. Maybe they don't know his name is Nick. So they go, "Oh, like Cousin Greg, I'm a huge fan. McLovin, I'm a huge fan." It's like, great, awesome. Like, I'm down to talk to you. But there are those people that don't care. I met someone at the Celtics game that's like, "Hey, McLovin." I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on? My name's Chris." And he's just like, "I'm calling you McLovin. I don't care. I don't care. I'm calling you this." And I'm like, "All right, like I'm trying to have that connection with you so you kind of get to know the real me, but you only see me in this one light." And that's fine. There's no issue with that, but that's kind of as far as our relationship will go.
It is. You will decide decisively there that you and I will not be friends. This connection ends right now.
I'm not bringing you home to meet my parents if you're screaming McLovin still. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the case.
Chris, here's the question. If you had to be identified by one role in your career, which one would you pick?
I mean, the world has chosen for me that it is McLovin, and it's I owe everything to that role. I'd be bitter if I was upset that people loved that movie, loved that character. It has given me everything. It gave me Kick-Ass, role models, Kick-Ass 2, Neighbors 1, Neighbors 2, all the animated stuff I've done. I go to the Celtics game, and Robert Williams is like so excited to meet me because of that movie. I'm like, in what world would this ever happen? It is a gift, and I'm very grateful for it.
Chris, when you were cast on this show with Tom Schwartz of Vanderpump Rules, I'm sure you didn't expect to find yourself in the middle of Scandival. How have you been able to navigate that tricky situation?
I didn't know who he was. I'd never seen the show. He just walked in. I was like, oh, he's just a very charming, handsome guy, very sweet. Can you run me through what the Scandival thing is? I feel like this crowd doesn't know what it is. I feel like the Dan LeBatard show does not know what the Scandival
Well, Billy is here to help you. Thank you for bringing that up because, yes, it's a gossipy, fun item. Go ahead, Billy.
Well, so essentially there's a show called Vanderpump Rules where there's a bunch of people who are bartenders at one of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants, and they all cheat on each other. And for 10 years, they've all been cheating on each other. But
wildly popular show.
Yeah, this year Tom Sandoval, I guess last year Tom Sandoval, not to be confused with Tom Schwartz, who you are friends with. He's friends with Tom Sandoval. Tom Sandoval cheated on Ariana, and that was a big no-no. Even though the way that relationship started was kind of questionable because at the time Tom Sandoval was dating Kristen Doty. So then Ariana got in the picture. They only kissed, no more than that, and then they ended up in a relationship together. Fast forward to 10 years now, season 10, and then he had a relationship with Raquel, who is really known as Rachel. Well, what did you guys talk about on Mars? I mean, Tom Schwartz is not that deep.
Well, dude, I didn't, you guys haven't seen the show, but it aired last night. I don't last very long on it. So I have
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Oh, man.
Spoiler alert.
Come on.
Hey,
Spoiler alert.
I wanted to catch up.
Mondays, 8 p.m. on Fox.
I made it. Maybe I make it episode 2. Maybe I make it episode 3. We don't know. I don't make it very long. So I didn't dig into the Sandoval of things, the Scandival of things. But he's a very sweet man. And I wish Tom Schwartz, if he's not a POS, if he's not one, I wish him the best.
Christopher, we've all noticed the drum set behind you. You play in a band. We'd like you, if you don't mind, to climb behind the drums. No, I'm serious.
Don't do that.
Take us to Christopher. Christopher, let me ask the question.
He's not a dancing
but you
monkey
pose it
for
as
you.
we want that.
Come on.
No, he is great. He's a great drum player and a great bassist guitarist, right? You play the bass guitar.
do this.
I want you to take us to break with a little music.
My
What's the
skin
big
is
deal?
crawling.
Well, I would have
sorry.
plugged in a bass if I would have known. I haven't played
sorry.
drums in like 7 years. That was my first band.
Sorry.
To the
Right
bass.
behind you.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, I didn't call you McLovin.
No,
I mean,
come
drumming
on.
it.
Come on. Come on.
They're for show.
I got nothing ready to go. Boys. I wish we
You
would have.
embarrassed me.
Maybe some air drums. Maybe some air
You
drums.
I
embarrassed
wish
me,
we would have
sir.
planned this out, man. There you
Okay,
go.
Chris, thank you for being
Years
on with
ahead.
us. I'm embarrassed. If you want to sing a
no,
song
no.
with us, we can sing a song about Stugatz being disgusting.
What?
I'm
What?
sorry.
Why is this
How's
getting
that
more
any better?
embarrassing?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's good seeing you and your whispering eye.
Yes.
Stars on Mars, Mondays,
Told me
8
to ask.
p.m. on Fox. Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Love talking sports. Have me on again, please.
Love you.